Welcome back to the John and Linetia Show.
If you're just joining us, we've been talking for the last hour about how you suck.
Big time!
Yeah, sorry. But we're going to move on. Also wanted to point out, I have an acute case of LinSanity.
Oh, no!
Yes.
No! Is there something you can take for that?
I think you just take as many NBA broadcasts as possible. I'm not a big basketball fan.
Okay.
But it's just fascinating, this story about this kid from Harvard who hey, the Knicks were basically, what the heck, let's just throw this against the wall, see if it works. And the next thing you know, this guy is actually pretty good.
He is.
He works in the scheme that D'Antoni has, the coach of the New York Knicks, and has done well. And basically, that team has just been awful. And now all of a sudden they're good. I don't know necessarily that LinSanity would be going on if it wasn't out of New York or maybe Los Angeles. Even if it was Chicago, it probably wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, the East Coast biased media, the ESPN's on the East Coast, the New York tabloids and the New York, the news channels and stuff. But it's still a pretty good story,
Right.
If not all the goofy ass Lin puns.
Right, I was going to ask you about. What's up with all that? How many Lin jokes can we take?
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre because there was a certain time when the New York newspapers, because they really started it, they didn't really do all of these goofy puns. It used to just be the New York Post. And mostly that was because, the Post was like, Rupert Murdoch, and kind of a lot of the people who worked there used to work in, for British tabloids, which constantly would do these goofy names. I remember in the 80s when they came up with the nickname for Michael Jackson was Jacko.
Right.
I still have no idea where the heck that came from. But
me either.
So they do all these goofy puns, and everybody's picking up on it. Although it's a variation when Vince Carter was a star for the Toronto Raptors. They did it was all kinds of LinSanity, so it's really kind of a recycled thing. But
see, here's the issue I'm having. The issue I'm having with this is they're kind of degrading some of these things. Some of the things that they're saying, basically because the guy is Asian.
Me love you, Lin time?
Yeah, that's not funny.
No,
that's
not funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. It's almost as if.
Why can't he be just a great basketball player?
Well, yeah, and he should. I mean, I think, unfortunately, a lot of people have decided that with all these puns that they're going to try to come up with what's the next funniest thing. And you get somebody who just doesn't understand and, all of a sudden digs a drawing of a fortune cookie, with his head, coming out of it or something like that.
Or he's speaking and then they dub over it.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
So I don't know. I mean, ultimately, if I think people look at it and because you're not slurring, or you're slurring a brand new, I don't know, I guess, ethnic group, generally you don't get too many people saying all these insensitive things about Asian Americans all the time.
Right.
And I think basically they go, well, it's not out there, so it must not be insensitive. But yeah, it is.
Why can't he be a role model like everyone else?
I think he is.
Little boys are going to look up to him, and
girls
girls
the
too.
Underdog. It's just very nice to see, the story of an underdog. Even if the underdog is from Harvard.
Right. That's true. That's very true. Well, good luck, Jeremy Lin. You're going to do well. Mr. John?
What?
Why is Rahm Emanuel closing some of the schools in Chicago?
Is he a moron? I don't know. It's that tried and true plan of this school is underperforming, so we're gonna basically close it down and get entirely new teachers and a new essentially an outside company to run things.
Okay.
And it's all rooted in the idea that if students are underperforming, it must be the teacher's fault. There seems to be that's the only culpability. The only if students do well, then it's all over the place. Then it's the school system did great, the parents did great, and all of this. But I mean, continually what you're seeing, especially with charter schools and private schools, you're seeing all the best students kind of testing into all of these other schools. Well, then what does that leave for your run-of-the-mill public schools? And you've got test scores that when compared to state averages tend to be much lower. But in the end, I think it's faulty. It's a faulty idea that you've just got to close down the school and bring in all new management, because I don't think the numbers have borne out that actually it's that much better after the fact.
So they're going to close down the school and reopen it with a new name and new leadership.
Right.
Okay, but if you close down the school, where are the kids going to go while the school is closed down?
Well, in a lot of the cases, they'll disperse them temporarily to surrounding schools, or what they do is disperse them around. Then when they open up the new school, then it becomes one of those testing in schools.
Right, but aren't you you're not checking with the parents to see if this is okay. You're not checking with the board to see if this is okay with them. You're also kind of making things inconvenient for the parent.
Rahm doesn't care because he put his kids in a private school.
Oh.
So he doesn't really care. He's paying more tuition, for his kids in the private school. The kids in that school actually have more money per pupil spent on them than in public schools. So Rahm really doesn't much care about these parents and these kids. The effect of them being shuttled around and pushed and pulled because they don't have the money that he has to get their kids into private schools.
That's sad.
Yeah, well,
That's
there you
really
go.
Sad. And let's go back to our conversation we had before about money needing to be allotted to education. More money.
I would say so. Just throwing money at it isn't going to help everything. I think in a lot of cases, especially when it comes to kids in public schools, is that, you've got the at-home factor. You've got, maybe you have single parents, but in a lot of cases, no matter what, parents you have, who maybe aren't investing enough in making sure that the kids are doing their homework, are studying, come and visit, the school every once in a while. And the fact is that in a lot of cases, and it happens with private schools too, is that parents think that basically you're dropping the kid off at 7 a.m. You're picking the kid up at 3 p.m. And what happens in between there isn't your business, but they sure as heck better get an education.
I actually used to be in a book club, and when I was there were a lot of people in the book club who were teachers at the Chicago Public Schools, and they would constantly say how much the parents were not involved in their kids' education. And they were saying that when you bring the kids to school, you need to check on them, you need to be here to pick them up. We are not their parents.
Right.
That's what they're saying. We are not their parents. And, they said they had one situation where a lady didn't even know where her child was, and she's like, I dropped him off at school this morning. Well, they didn't know where the child was till like 11 o'clock at night. And it's like, you're not even involved in what your child is doing in school. And the teachers are being disrespected, too. They're getting cursed out.
Well, because the kids know that the teachers can't really do much to punish them. So.
Family. Go back to family. Back to family.
Yeah, right. It's a quagmire. All right. We'll be right back after these words from the 2012 Chicago Cubs, reminding fans that good tickets are still available.
Yay!
So come out to the friendly confines where you can watch the Cubs try.
Go Cubs! You're listening to the John and Linetia Show.